All right, everyone. Hello, Gary Ryan with a very shadowy and impromptu YouTube video talking about the big change today. If you thought it was a joke, it's not. Been a little change. When we started today being Wednesday, November 8th, this was our standings. All right. We had Binghamton, Danbury, and Elmira, and Watertown, and Blue Ridge all hanging out here in the Empire. And then over here we had Motor City, and Columbus, and Carolina, and Mississippi, Port Huron, and Baton Rouge. Well, yesterday there was a meeting of the Board of Governors, which is, the owners and whatnot. And this was agreed upon. So it was not an arbitrary decision. I my initial reaction is one of complete bewilderment, but we don't have Blue Ridge over here anymore. We don't have Motor City over here anymore. We have... So, now, obviously, standings are different, so we're not going to mess with all that. But, Blue Ridge, I can't write sideways, but I'm going to try. This is Motor City. Okay, so... Everybody's going, why? Why did this happen? All right. Well, first of all, as we all know, the schedule was insane. And just to go back and very briefly, retouch on that, it's because we weren't sure if we were going to have a relocated Delaware Thunder playing out of New Jersey last year. As the season concluded and things were up in the air whether Delaware was going to relocate or not, the league was kind of holding its breath going, come on, Charlie Pens, we need a decision. Trying to get the schedule set, and then at the last minute, Charlie said, you know what, nope, not going to do it. So, that left the team with the 11, or the league rather, with the 11 teams, and they had to take what they had worked on and really fine-tune it. And, of course, it came out all wonky, and they've made some adjustments, and it's perhaps a touch less wonky, but it's still wonky nonetheless. So, anyway, to better fit with the schedule, and I understand this from a couple of perspectives, what this does by doing the switch here. First of all, it balances things out. As we looked at the standings when we woke up this morning, it was clear that the Continental Division was disproportionately stronger than the Empire. Now we got a long way to go. We still have, roughly, 48 to 50 games, depending on what team you are, to play for the season. So things could change, but I think this is the time of year where we start kind of getting an idea who's going to be the stronger teams, who's going to struggle, who's middle of the pack, all that kind of stuff. So this balances things out a little bit more. Right now you've got Binghamton in first place, Motor City's in second, both of those teams without a regulation loss. And then Danbury, Elmira, Watertown. Poor Watertown, they were in a playoff spot, in the fourth position with Blue Ridge behind them, and now they're in last. So a little motivation for the Wolves to get moving. But anyway, this does two things. Now, the big question is, not only does this balance things out, but it also helps with the scheduling a little bit, because Motor City does play each of the Empire Division teams like 4 to 6 times, whereas most of these teams didn't play Blue Ridge except for maybe a couple times. Binghamton wasn't playing Blue Ridge. I don't believe Danbury was. And I think Elmira and Watertown both only took them on twice. So it's kind of strange. It's like, why do you have a divisional opponent that you don't play? So this puts Blue Ridge and Carolina together, which is good. Now, obviously, the really bizarre thing right now is Motor City and Port Huron being in 2 different divisions, 46 miles apart, and they're in different divisions. Kind of strange, but Port Huron was okay with this. Motor City was okay with this. They're still going to play each other 19 times altogether. So playing this weekend. So that doesn't change that. That doesn't change the rivalry. But what this also does is it helps to set things up for next year, because there is going to be expansion next year. I wrote down a couple of cities down here. We've talked about Danville in the past. Right now, the odds are exactly 50-50. The arena board is voting on whether to say yes to a return of Danville Dashers or to be the home ice arena for a USPHL team. And they will be taking next few weeks to finalize that decision. So again, 50-50 shot. Beaumont has been in the works for quite a while. Don Kiernan and Barry Soskin and a group of others has been working on this since late last season, like early spring is when this really started. So right now, I would put odds at an expansion team being given to Beaumont, Texas at above 50%. It probably will happen. It's not definite. There's still a lot of things to work out. I think it's a mistake myself, just geographically. Okay, great. You can play Mississippi and Baton Rouge a bunch of times, but it's now 1,000 miles and a 15-plus hour bus ride to Blue Ridge. It's, what did I see? About 13 and a half hours up to Motor City. I think they're spreading themselves too thin. But nonetheless, the wheels are in motion, and again, it's probably going to happen. The chances are very strong that there is going to be an exhibition game played, probably with Baton Rouge, Mississippi, I would think, in Beaumont. So, we'll see how that develops. Also, Mobile, Alabama has been talked about. Now, there's a good fit because it's right in between Biloxi for the Mississippi Seawolves and Columbus. And it's not too far away from Mississippi. I think Mobile is better than Beaumont any day. But nonetheless, there's also other possibilities being worked on. Now, there was one potential situation with Florence, South Carolina, that was thoroughly rejected. Florence, the PD region of South Carolina, is not happening. But there was a lot of noise and commotion being made about trying to get a team set up there. So anyway, the league is expanding. How many teams? I don't know. But again, being that Beaumont is a greater than 50% possibility, this sets things up for, hypothetically, you got Beaumont Blue Ridge, Columbus, Carolina, Mississippi, and Baton Rouge in the south. Port Huron then could move into the north. And I think next year you get rid of the Continental and the Empire Division names. You just make it north and south. But it seems like that is the direction that the league is moving in. Again, the travel costs are going to be much greater for the southern teams and the northern teams, but let them figure that out. So this realignment also kind of helps lead into that. Again, I think Mobile is better than Beaumont, but what do I know? I'm just a schmuck in Pennsylvania. All right, so that's what is going on. So when you go to the Fed website and you look at the standings and you go, what sorcery is this? No, your eyes are not deceiving you. You're not the victim of a November Fool joke. It's real. It's happened. And the league has already made the changes to reflect what has been done and decided upon today. So I hope this answers some questions. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And while you're here, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Remember, tomorrow we're going to be doing a Spotify podcast. We'll talk a little bit more about this. We're also going to be reviewing the Baton Rouge Columbus game that's taking place tonight and getting things set up for this weekend. A full slate of games, one tonight, one Thursday night, and then there's a litany of games on Friday and Saturday. All right, thank you so much for watching and for all your support. I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Have a good night.